My child, pause and listen to me in this moment. For what I am about to say does not arise from human imagination, nor from the ordinary stream of earthly thought. This is a voice that comes from the realm of eternity. And I, Michael, Archangel of the Lord God, have been sent to bring you an urgent message. You have not misheard. And this is no mere coincidence. This is a moment foreordained before time began. I have been commissioned by the Most High to open your eyes, to awaken your soul, and to lead you out of the snare that has been laid before you by the hands of the wicked. Child, a shadow has secretly crept into your life, not in dreams, nor in illusion, but through a real and active operation in the spiritual realm. Two women, consumed by envy and pride, have called upon the darkness and carried out a ritual meant to bind you. They are not strangers. One of them once held your hand in the light, but now, seduced by counterfeit power, she has turned herself toward the shadows. Their ritual is not only an affront to truth, it is an assault meant to pierce the destiny that God Himself has placed upon you. Can you feel it? The stagnation, the confusion, the disorientation, and how doors that were once wide open now seem invisibly shut. This is no imagination. These are the results of an unseen manipulation targeted at your very soul. And so I come today to declare, their schemes shall not succeed if you are willing to rise from complacency, to stand in faith, and to follow what I am about to reveal. First, understand this. This attack is not only against who you are now, but against all that you are meant to become, your sacred relationships, your divine calling, and the promises God has inscribed upon your forehead. With the sorcery of jealousy, they seek to obscure the light you carry. But child, the darkness cannot extinguish the light unless the light abandons itself. I have been appointed as a guardian over the souls who are called in the midst of the invisible war, and I say to you, with all the urgency a heavenly messenger can convey, the time to act is now, not tomorrow, not at some later hour, but in this very moment while the window of heaven is open and the summons from above sounds like the trumpet of deliverance. My child, rise and step into the presence of the Almighty. No need for display or outward ritual, only a sincere heart, a quiet space, and a willingness to surrender. If you can light a candle, do so as a sign that you receive the light. If you can place a bowl of pure water nearby, let it be a symbol of cleansing from on high. But above all, open your heart and speak to me in truth. Beloved, I see the tears that no one else knows about. I witness the long nights where you wrestle in silence, the questions left unanswered, the twists in your path that seemed meaningless. You are not lost, you are under attack, and your enemy is not flesh and blood, but unseen powers in the realm of darkness, wicked spirits who have exploited the weakness of others to set traps along your way. My child, know this, you are not alone. I, Michael, have come. My sword is drawn not to threaten you, but to fight on your behalf. Yet I can only act with your consent. Heaven honors the free will of mankind. If you open your heart and confess, the heavens will open. If you close your heart in doubt, the battle will prolong. Say to me these words, Archangel Michael, I receive your word. I stand on the side of the light. I renounce all darkness, both seen and unseen. Please act on my behalf and teach me to walk in the path of life. With these words alone, You initiate a spiritual chain of command, causing the angelic host to prepare for intervention. Do you know that every sincere prayer of yours, even if short or uncertain, creates ripples in the spiritual realm? You are not as weak as you believe. You were created to overcome, not to be defeated. The blood of Christ was not shed so that you might live in fear. His name is a fortress, and you are being invited to enter it, escape every ambush of the wicked. Do not delay. The next 10 minutes open a rare heavenly window, a moment when I may act visibly. If only you would step forward in faith, not by emotion, not by sight, but by trusting that my word is true and the one I serve is faithful. I will not force you, but I plead with you for the love of God, for your own destiny, and for the generations after your eyes. Cry out. Say, I am ready. When you do, I will break the invisible chains, untangle the knots of your soul, and cut off every occult influence cast upon you. Decide now. The light is waiting. Beloved child, when I draw near, darkness recedes, not because of any power I possess on my own, but because I come in the name of the Most High, the One before whom every knee must bow, in heaven, on earth, and under the earth. I do not come to frighten you, but to awaken you, for there are things already set in motion in the spirit realm that you can no longer ignore. You asked for truth, and now I bring it to you, though it may cut like a double-edged sword. My child, there have been works done behind your back in the shadows of jealousy and betrayal, whispered words, counterfeit glances, and hands pretending kindness were all part of a dark ritual aimed at derailing your destiny. But I say to you today, your destiny cannot be stolen if you stand firm in the light. The two women I speak of, cloaked in the guise of kindness, have allied themselves with powers not of heaven. They have not only invoked names that do not belong to God, but have spoken curses directly targeting your name. They are not ignorant, nor innocent, they are deliberate. Every action they performed, every word uttered in their rituals of darkness, was a calculated effort to shut the doors your Heavenly Father has opened. But the sword has been drawn, and the enemy will not prevail. I have seen them as they wrote your name in blood. I have heard their vows beneath the moonlight. I have smelled the stench of the unholy fires they lit to imprison your soul in desolation. But I have been sent to sever every shackle. You are not alone. This battle, though fierce, was initiated in heaven long before you perceived it on earth. Child, I know there were times you felt weary, alone, and betrayed by those you once trusted. Dreams have crumbled, relationships fractured, doors shut without explanation. These are not coincidences. They are the effects of the sorcery woven against you. But today I have come to declare, I will overturn it. You must understand this darkness does not move without cause. The enemy does not target those with nothing to lose. It is because you are chosen, because you carry the promise, because you are marked by a divine calling, that they trembled. Their magic is evidence that you are standing at the threshold between what was and what is to come, between bondage and freedom, between silence and the roar of heaven. And now you must decide, will you bow under pressure, or will you rise under heaven's covering? I do not come with flattery, but with command. Child, within the next 10 minutes, if you listen and obey, I will command my host to encamp around your dwelling. But you must act. Do not delay. For with delay, the spell sinks deeper into your soul. I see the invisible cords wrapped around your sleep, your peace of mind, and your joy in speech. But I also see that faith still flickers within your heart. Let it blaze. First, find a quiet place where only you and the presence of God may dwell. Do not be afraid. Bring a white candle, symbol of holiness, and a bowl of clean water, representing the river of grace. Pray with me. I will guide your every word, every step, every breath. As you light the candle, confess that the light of God is shining into every hidden place within you. As the water flows through your hands, imagine the very power from the Father's throne cleansing every unseen curse that clings to your life. As you do this, I will stand at your gate, a warrior of the light. My sword is not drawn to threaten you, but to shield you. This sword has been raised in battle against Satan himself, and it has never failed. If you obey, I will sever every link they have forged with such effort. No spell can touch a soul covered in obedience and the blood of the Lamb. My child, do not let your mind be intoxicated by the reasoning of this world. The enemy delights in hiding behind a mask, falsehood dressed as logic, darkness cloaked in compassion. Yet your soul perceives far more than your eyes can see. You've known it for a long time, haven't you? You felt that strange chill in their presence. You heard the unnatural silence fill the room when they entered. That was a warning from the spirit realm. And now, I confirm it, your intuition was true. As you begin to act, the whirlwind of darkness will respond. Those who once pretended to love will begin to withdraw. Those who once spoke well of you will suddenly fall silent. Do not be afraid. This is a sign that the darkness is trembling because you are awakening. I say it again, this is not the time to fear. This is the time to take up arms. My sword has been drawn, and it will not return to its sheath until every curse is defeated. My beloved child, listen closely, for I am not merely speaking, I am summoning your soul into a new reality. What I am about to reveal does not arise from human imagination, nor is it born of chance. It is truth engraved upon the heavenly tablets, a part of the divine design for your destiny. There are nights when it feels like the sky itself is pressing against your chest. You can't breathe. You can't sleep. And the tears come without reason. You thought it was sorrow, but in truth, it was a calling. I stirred your spirit with restlessness to awaken you from the spiritual slumber that darkness had cast. The enemy's magic is not simply chains, it is a fog that disorients. Now I have come to blow away that fog, so you can see clearly that the final wall is about to collapse. I know you thought you had been forgotten. You saw others blessed while you struggled among closed doors. But the truth is, because you are chosen, the enemy invested most to block your path. You thought you were delayed, but in reality, you were held back to keep you from stepping into a trap. You thought you were rejected, but in truth, it was heaven shielding you from hands that had been stained by covenants with darkness. My child, I have come to tell you that the battles in your life are not because you are unworthy, but because your soul bears a mark of power. You are a threat to the enemy's camp. For if you ever truly discover who you are and what your heavenly destiny is, every plan of hell will collapse. That is why I now stand between heaven and earth, calling your soul, return to eternal truth. Remember the covenant made before you entered this world. Awaken, for the day of liberation has come. The enemy knows of your covenant with the Most High even better than you do. They have read the engraving on your soul. They see the divine light radiate from your name each time you pray. Each time you praise even in tears. That is why they tried to blind you, to cloud your mind, to make you question even the voice of heaven. But now, I declare the veil is torn. The light is no longer hindered. Look up. My child, the heavens are opening. A path between the realms is being laid before you. This is not a road crafted by man, but one granted to those who walk by faith through adversity. I have seen you collapse many times. I have seen your losses, your betrayals, your wounds from those you once held dear. But I have also seen you rise at trembling hands, bleeding heart, and still you stood. Each time you rise, the armies of heaven rejoice. Each time you refuse to give up, I am granted closer access to your heart. And today, I come not only to comfort, but to reveal, not all delays are defeats. Not every closed door is the end. In the spirit realm, there are false doors that would devour you if you stepped through. And I, by divine authority, have sealed them shut. My child, I want you to remember the dreams of your youth, the things you once sensed but never dared to speak aloud. They were not fantasies, but spiritual memories, a part of you that knew your mission before you entered this flesh. You have seen yourself soaring beyond the limits of humanity, heard sounds not of this world, felt the gentle light wrap around your soul. It was real. These were reminders that you came from another realm, and you were sent to fulfill a sacred portion of the greater plan. I tell you now, the magic of darkness holds no power once you step into your true identity. Your name, the name your soul bears in heaven, is a key. The enemy knows this, and that is why they tried to rename you in the spirit. They used curses, bloodlines, and perverse sacrifices to rewrite your identity, but I will restore it. I will proclaim your name from the heights of heaven, so that both realm spirit and earth know you belong to heaven, not to darkness. Prepare yourself, for in the days ahead, I will allow truth to unfold gradually. What was lost will be restored. Relationships once severed will be mended by my hand. But you must keep your spirit pure. Do not let bitterness or revenge enter your heart, for that is the gateway through which dark magic returns. Sanctify your mind daily. Let my word be the armor for your soul, for as you step into this season, you are no longer who you once were. You are a warrior trained by heaven. My child, this is the hour when the skies have split. The light of heaven is pouring down, piercing through the night that tries to surround you. And I, Michael, the guardian of the spiritual gates, am leading the host to escort you across this threshold. O child of the Most High, I will now reveal a truth the earthly realm has tried to conceal, and the enemy has labored to distort. There is an inheritance that belongs to you, a sacred provision marked for you since the dawn of creation. It is not riches or fame by human standards, but an inheritance of what heaven has decreed: favor, authority, protection, and a river of blessing that surpasses all earthly comprehension. You believed you were forgotten, abandoned in the flow of life. You saw others move with ease, while you stumbled through trials, as if every gate of heaven had shut before you. But I tell you, that shutting was not from heaven, but the result of a spiritual war long underway, a battle over your inheritance. Forces have worked to shroud your destiny, to blind your spiritual vision, to make you question your worth and the rights you were born with. Since your youth, you were targeted. The enemy saw the mark upon your forehead, the mark of an errand. They moved swiftly through wounding words, betrayal by those closest, shattered dreams and long seasons of loneliness. They sought to make you forget who you are. But what you didn't see is that every sigh in the dark, every silent moment of pain, sparked battles in the heavens because of you. My child, I have fought for you even when you did not know it. I have drawn my sword when your soul was called upon in wicked rituals. There were those who took advantage of your trust to make covenants that opposed the light. They used your name in spoken sacrifices, in acts mingled with darkness, all aimed at sealing the flow of blessing destined for you. But I stand here today to tell you, the hour of breaking has come. Heaven's grace cannot be stolen forever. What has been written by the hand of God, no power can erase. Listen closely. The inheritance I speak of is not held in the hands of men, nor does it belong to the systems of this world. It is held in the spiritual realm, where unseen principles govern what the human eye cannot perceive. You possess a treasure that has been locked away by spells of unbelief, by words birthed in envy, by dark rituals secretly performed by two women under the cover of night. They did not act out of ignorance. They knew you carried a sacred flow, and they sought to seal it. My child, no darkness can restrain the light that is ordained by God. I speak to you today not to stir fear, but to call you into your rightful place, the place of an heir. Established by divine selection, now is the time for you to rise. Not with the sharpened sword of man, but with the declaration of your own mouth. It is your word, grounded in faith, that will unlock the doors sealed by sorcery. Know this, there were those in your bloodline once chosen to be the keepers of the inheritance. But because they betrayed the covenant with the Lord, the flow was passed to you. And this transfer has made you a target of the forces of darkness, not because you are weak, but because you bear the sacred lineage, a spiritual bloodline reawakened by your yearning for heaven. I have seen the times you prayed without words. I have heard the sighs in the stillness of night, when your soul groaned from a hollow place. You thought it was despair, but in truth, it was a summons that reached me. And today, I come not only with a sword, but with a key, a sacred key that will open the sealed vaults, if you are willing to receive it and walk in full obedience. Remember this, restoration does not come through apathy, but through devotion. I will guide you step by step, showing you how to cleanse your spiritual atmosphere, how to wield prayer as a weapon, and how to declare your true identity daily. For only when you act as an heir will heaven and earth respond to the authority you carry. Be discerning with the voices around you. Not every word of counsel comes from the light. The enemy knows well how to cloak darkness in the appearance of false light. You must discern by the Spirit, by the teaching of the Holy Spirit within you. Keep your heart pure and your eyes lifted upward, for when your vision is set rightly, your steps will not go astray. This is a pivotal season. The inheritance you have long awaited is being released, but it will only be entrusted to those who know its worth and are prepared to guard it. I'm standing at the sacred gate, calling your name. Are you ready to enter? If you are, I will continue to show you how to dismantle each spell, each curse, each delay, so that you may fully receive the blessing that is rightfully yours. My child, I will lead you into a season of unbinding. This is no longer the time for doubt or hesitation. What stands before you is a spiritual reality that has been distorted by demonic spells. What you thought were coincidences in your life were, in fact, the result of orchestrated schemes. But today, I come with power bestowed by the Most High to shatter every chain. Those two women entered your life directly or indirectly under a guise of harmlessness, yet they were not sent by friendship or family ties, but by a dark assignment to divert your destiny. They used words, actions, rituals, and even your name to cast spells, burying your provision in darkness. They knew you carried a divine calling from heaven, and so they sought to cloud your spiritual awareness. Therefore, I want you to remember my words: every curse, every incantation, every unholy covenant, whether enacted through blood, through lies, or across generations, cannot stand against the light of God. Today, I come to proclaim deliverance, and you must partner with me. You can no longer live passively in territory that has been occupied. You must reclaim it with your words, your faith, and your unwavering declarations. My child, open your mouth and proclaim, I break every curse spoken over my life. I reclaim my inheritance in the name of the Living One. These are not mere sounds, they are swords of fire. When spoken in faith, they cut through the spiritual realm and burn away all that is not from God. I am giving you an authority that cannot be counterfeited, the authority of one who stands in righteousness. My beloved child, be prepared to face resistance, for when light begins to shine into darkness, the shadows will thrash. You may witness those who once spoke sweetly turning away, and those who once offered help becoming distant and cold. Do not be surprised. This is not failure, it is separation. I am cleansing your spiritual environment so that what has been hidden may come to light without contamination from the wicked. Listen closely. There will come a day when you accidentally open an old notebook, or hear a whisper in your thoughts, and a memory you believed forgotten will rise again. This is not a coincidence, it is my way of pointing you back to the clue, the very starting point of your restoration. Follow that prompting without fear. I myself will go before you. Know this: not every prayer has the power to break curses. Only the prayers born out of confession, from the renouncing of ungodly ties, from absolute obedience, can carry that authority. I need you to sever connections that have closed the gates of heaven. It may be a romantic bond, a financial tie, or even an object in your home once used for dark rituals. I will show you. If you ask, you will feel lighter with every act of obedience. Do not wait for your emotions to align before acting. Act first, and healing will follow. When you burn a letter filled with curses, when you discard a gift handed down by agents of darkness, when you walk away from a place that served as an entry point for evil, then I and my heavenly host will move at once. A spiritual tremor will take place. I tell you now, some heavenly doors have remained shut because of vows that were never revoked. Someone in your bloodline may have dedicated your life to a power other than the living God. But I have come to help you nullify that vow. Confess it aloud. Declare, I renounce every ungodly vow made on my behalf. I stand under the blood of the Lamb and reclaim everything that rightfully belongs to me. When you speak these words, darkness will tremble. Keep yourself under disciplina. This is not an emotional sprint, but a spiritual journey. I will continue to speak to you daily through dreams, through scripture, through voices that I affirm. Do not fear the trials. You are stepping into battle to reclaim a throne that was stolen, O child of light. I give you declarations of power words sealed in heaven for you, since before the foundations of the earth. These are not mere utterances, but spiritual weapons, keys that unlock heaven's gates, and swords that shatter unseen chains, binding your soul. Hear me and declare this in unwavering faith. I belong to the living God. I am His inheritance. No power on earth, beneath it, or in the unseen realms can steal what He has ordained for me. Every spiritual entanglement, every curse, every dark scheme set against me is broken by the authority of the name of Jesus Christ. As you declare this, the hosts of heaven will receive the signal. What was withheld, what once seemed unreachable, will begin to move. I have seen your destiny suspended in the space between wrong choices, but today, by the power of the Most High, I plant a new sacred marker, the milestone of redemption. I have not come for you to hear once and forget. I have come to write a new sacred history between heaven and earth, and your name is inscribed on its title. You shall no longer be held captive by spiritual delay. From this moment forward, your spiritual momentum will shift. What once took years will be accomplished in a day. Doors that remain shut will swing open without you needing to knock. But for this to happen, you must sever all ties with a polluted past. My child, open your heart to receive this truth. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is the power to set you free. You cannot fully break the bondage while still clinging to bitterness toward those who hurt you. Perhaps they were the two women who performed rituals. Perhaps they were loved ones, those who laughed with you, walked beside you, then betrayed you. But if you imprison them in the cell of your hatred, you imprison yourself with them. Say to me, I forgive those who have spoken, acted, or performed dark rituals against me. I hold them in no chains. I release them to heaven's judgment in righteousness, and I am free. In that very moment of forgiveness, the unseen cords wrapped around your soul will be cut loose. Some ties are not made with hands or words, but with prolonged resentment, and they must be destroyed. And I say to you, when these cords fall away, you will feel lighter, brighter, and the spiritual skies above you will clear. Now, child, you are stepping into new territory, but do not enter with old baggage. In the week to come, cleanse your space. If there are any objects connected to dark spirits, witchcraft, false profecias, or gifts that bring unease, burn them, bury them deep, or throw them far from your home. I will guide you as you pray. Remember, a defiled object is a doorway for oppression. As you do this, declare, this house belongs to the Lord. I close every invisible door that was once open to the enemy. I welcome His angels to dwell here and establish this place as a station of light. Ezri, from that day forward, you will begin to receive clearer instructions. I will whisper to your heart at dawn. Your dreams will no longer be chaos, but layered with revelation. The enemy will attempt to return through fatigue, doubt, or by the knock of someone from your past. But you will be forewarned. Trust your sacred intuition, for it is I, awakening you. You are not a victim. You are the chosen. You do not walk to escape darkness. You walk so that darkness flees from you. And every slander, Every curse, every dark design from this moment on shall be shattered by my flaming sword. I, my beloved child, I desire to bring you into a deeper place of revelation, where sacred truth is no longer veiled by the fog of the world. Listen closely, for what I am about to declare to you has been ordained long before your birth, inscribed upon the tablets of heaven, and now comes to you at the appointed time. My child, you did not enter this battle by accident, nor are you a passive victim of the forces of darkness. You were known in the spirit realm. You were called by name while others still slumbered. Your name was sent forth like a signal into the spirit world, not merely as one who walks in the flesh, but as one who holds influence and authority in the kingdom of light. Because of this, the darkness has longed to hinder your steps. It has watched you in secret, stalking you like a lion in the night. But I say this to you, you have not been forsaken. You are never alone, and I sent by the Most High to guard you stand nearer now than ever before. I have fought beside you even when you were unaware. I have raised my sword against invisible arrows, and I have sheltered your resting place beneath wings of power. You have felt strange winds on your pillow. You have dreamed of flames encircling you. You have heard whispers in your sleep that no one else could comprehend. These were not illusions, nor were they the workings of imagination. They were calls from the realm of the sacred, and I am the messenger sent to awaken you. The women I once warned you about were not random enemies. They became conduits of jealousy, allowing themselves to be instruments of iniquity as they invoked nameless entities from the shadows, seeking to stir up powers that can only exist through deception and manipulation. They spoke your name in rituals. They bound your image in curses, and they pleaded for your downfall as if it were a prize for their barren souls. But, my child, what they did not know is this: you have been marked by the blood of the Holy One, covered in righteousness, and within your soul lies an imprint that no hand of darkness can erase. I say to you now, stand firm not by your own strength, but with boldness drawn from faith in the Living One. Every time you open your mouth in prayer, you are not merely speaking, you are shaking the unseen. Every time you refuse to compromise with sin, a chain in the enemy's camp is shattered. And now, I urge you to rise to a higher phase, not just to defend, but to counterattack. Take dominion over the sacred ground you have been called to govern. Declare with your own lips that your kingdom is of the light, and every shadow dwelling illegally must retreat. I have awaited this moment, the time when you no longer seek only protection, but are ready to walk with me on the front lines of spiritual warfare. I know there were times you felt weary, and I do not fault you for that. The winds of battle can weary the strongest feet, and heaven's silence can make you question whether anyone is truly listening. But I affirm to you now, every tear you've shed is recorded. Every sigh in the night echoes before the throne of the Almighty. It is He who has sent Mano merely to comfort, but to summon you into the power that has been assigned to you. In this very hour, if you receive my words and do not turn away from the call, the darkness will no longer touch your soul as it once did. You will not only be protected, you will become a threat to the very forces that once instilled fear in you. But if you reject this word, if you continue to live as one unaware of their anointing, then the old enemies will return with new tactics, and the cycle of delay, confusion, and harm will be prolonged. Therefore, I speak with urgency. Surrender your heart completely. Rise in the strength of the Lord. Open the spiritual window and receive the fresh breath of awakening. My child, do not listen to the mocking voices of the world, and do not doubt yourself because of the distorted echoes of your past. You have been forgiven, you have been redeemed, and you have been chosen. And when you walk in this awareness, all of heaven will rise on your behalf. I will not depart, I will remain, until you step fully into your destined purpose. Obey, listen, and trust, for the time has come. My child, even as you receive my word, a movement is taking place in the heavens. What the natural eye cannot see, what the natural ear cannot hear, is shaking the unseen realm. Your very breath just now sent out a wave that signaled the angelic hosts, and the affirmation whispered in your heart was recorded by the scribes who stand beside the throne of God. You are no longer the one waiting to be rescued. You are the one stepping into the role of a warrior, not as earthly soldiers fight, but as a warrior of light, trained by faith and guarded by righteousness. My child, you may feel something stirring within, like a voice echoing from the deepest part of your soul. That is the awakening. Not everyone is given this, but you have been chosen to receive it. That awakening makes it impossible for you to compromise with what you once accepted, impossible to stay silent or in harmony with the dark. It compels you to rise, even when nothing in your natural life seems to have changed. It rouses you in quiet hours, moves you to tears for reasons unknown, and gives you a thirst that nothing in this world can satisfy. My child, I tell you, this is the sign you have been awakened according to heaven's timetable, not by the noise of the world, but by the stirring of the one who created you. When darkness senses the transformation within you, it too begins to react. You may have noticed strange occurrences in recent days, unusual dreams, inexplicable heaviness, recurring situations as if something is trying to pull you back to where you once were. These are the resistance cries of darkness, trying to use fear, abandonment, or weariness to make you doubt the journey heaven has initiated. Do not be afraid. All of this is merely the scream of something that has been cast out of its position. Darkness does not surrender easily, but it cannot overcome one who has been marked by light. I tell you this, in every battle, what matters most is not what you see, but what you believe, even if you do not yet see my hand, even if you cannot feel my every step. Know that I am at work every hour, every moment. Remember, not all victories are loud and immediate. Some arrive in silence, quietly unlocking doors long closed by the enemy. Some rescues do not begin with thunder, but with a breath of obedience. So when you hear the stillness, do not think heaven has gone quiet. It is the moment I take a step back so you may rise and walk in the authority that has been granted to you. My child, do you remember the first time you felt the presence of the divine? That sensation was not a fleeting emotion, it was the evidence that you were called into a life beyond natural understanding. I have watched over you from the very beginning of that journey. Every time you turned away from temptation, every time you wept in the dark, not understanding why the trials came. All of it was recorded. None of it was in vain. Those very tears became the seeds for the power you are now receiving. Nothing you have endured for the name of the Lord is ever wasted. I have witnessed every step, and I say to you now, the harvest season is near. But before you reap, you must recognize where you stand in the spiritual realm. You cannot evaluate yourself through the mirror of the world. They cannot see the heavenly mark on your forehead. They do not hear the call resounding within your spirit. Do not let their words pull you back into the land I led you out of. You cannot carry the echoes of the past into the promised land. I need you to release the emotional ties that once left you confused relationships built on pity. Commitments rooted in fear. These are the burdens the enemy uses to delay your steps. Now is the time to move forward, not with aggression, but with strength rooted in faith. You do not need to prove anything to others. You need only to walk in step with the one who sent me to you. Let what I have begun in your soul be brought to completion through your obedience. When you dare to step out, the heavens will open. When you dare to believe, the earth will tremble. And when you dare to declare, power will rain down like a storm. I am herever distant, never weary, never abandoning you, until your eyes behold what God has planned for you from the beginning. I will remain by your side, watching and guarding, my beloved, as I continue to speak to you. Open your heart wide to receive each word as sacred seed sown into your spirit. The movement in heaven is accelerating with every prayer you utter. Even your quietest sigh carries a profound resonance that shakes the walls of invisible resistance. You are not insignificant. Never allow yourself to believe the lie that you are worthless, forgotten, or unnecessary. I say to you, you are an essential part of the great movement God has ordained since before the foundation of the world. There are things that have happened in your life that made you ask, why was I chosen? Why am I under attack? But you do not yet see that it is precisely because you were chosen that the battles came. Arrows from the enemy never target barren land. They are aimed at soil that carries the seeds of a mighty harvest. Your soul is such a land, rich with potential the enemy cannot control. That is why darkness has used its most subtle weapons: slander, betrayal, delay, and the feeling of abandonment. These were not just meant to hurt you, they were designed to extinguish the spark that is rising within you. Even so, I declare, that spark has not gone out, it is being rekindled. With every moment you endured in tears, every time you refused revenge, every time you chose forgiveness over resentment, a portion of the kingdom was being established within you. This is what the enemy cannot comprehend, that the very trials it sent have become the material God uses to forge spiritual weapons for you. Do you see it now? What seemed like failure was actually the doorway to sacred power. Each time you fall and rise again, you are not merely continuing, you are being refined. Know this, refinement is not comfortable. There will be moments when you feel alone in a crowd, lost among those you once trusted, times when heaven seems sealed, prayers bounce off the ceiling, and your soul falls into a valley of emptiness. Yet it is precisely in those moments that you are being shaped into a weapon. A sword is useless if it has not been heated, hammered, and plunged into fire. So it is with you. No one is sent to carry glory who has not passed through the fire of refinement. I tell you this, little warrior of the light, those who turned their backs on you were not your defeat. They were part of the divine pruning, the sacred removal of what could not walk beside you into the fullness of your calling. The doors that closed were not rejections, but shields of protection. The dreams that were delayed were not signs that you were unworthy, but marks that you were being prepared for something greater. I have seen the moment you sat alone in the dark, with only one question in your heart: God, are you truly listening? And I tell you, it was in that very moment that the light within you burned brighter than ever before. Now, my child, as you look back on the path you've walked, Do not let the pain overshadow what I am doing in the present. Let the past be a testimony of God's preservation. You are still here. That alone is a miracle. Though you have been wounded, though you have tasted despair, your heart still breathes with hope. And that hope is the lamp that guides your steps through the night. Let me make this clear. You do not need to have all the answers to walk in obedience. Faith is not the comprehension of everything. It is the willingness to move when nothing is visible. I have not called you to perfection. I have called you to faithfulness. It is not your strength that moves me to act, it is your weakness through which my power is revealed. What I desire from you is not eloquence or brilliance of strategy. I desire a heart that is tender before my voice. If today you hear me, do not harden your heart. Let the softness of your soul be the path through which heaven's presence fills your life. Do not compare yourself to others, for you are not measured by the world's standards. The plan for you is unique. Your journey is consecrated, and your timing is already etched into the calendar of heaven. My beloved, do you know what moves me most? Not when you stand fearless in a crowd, but when you kneel alone in your secret place and whisper, Lord, even when I don't understand, I still believe. That is the purest praise, the cry that pierces the heavens. For those who worship in the shadows, unseen by men, are the ones who shake the throne of God. Child, if you could grasp the weight of this moment in time, your soul would hesitate no more. Everything in the unseen is shifting according to divine order, though your eyes may not perceive it. But I do. I see the invisible cords the enemy tries to weave around your dreams, the paralyzing attempts to hinder your steps, the choking grip upon the voice of faith you were born to release. I speak to you not to instill fear, but to awaken the divine courage that God breathed into you when He first gave you life. You were not created to remain silent in dark corners, nor to imprison yourself in chains of shame and doubt. You were fashioned to carry light into places of darkness, to speak truth where truth has been strangled, to stand firm where others fall. The attacks against you are not because you are weak, they are because you carry a power that hell fears. Remember this: souls who carry revelation often walk a solitary road. But that solitude is not abandonment, is the trumpet call of divine consecration. There have been moments when you've asked, why did the ones I love turn away? Why do the doors I knock on stay closed? Why does heaven feel silent when I cry out? And I say to you, nothing is wasted in the kingdom of God. Every tear you've shed is stored in His vial. Every act of trust without evidence is recorded in heaven's scrolls. You are not forgotten. On the contrary, your name is engraved on His hand, and every breath you take is known to Him in its rhythm. Child, I have watched the enemy working silently around your life, the curses spoken behind your back, the spells uttered in the night, the dark intentions seeking to distort the image God has imprinted upon you. They thought you wouldn't notice. They thought you were too weak. They thought their schemes would bind you forever. But they did not know that you are covered by a light that cannot be extinguished, a light not born of earth, but of heaven. That light is the presence of God within you, a place no darkness can reach unless you open the door to it. You must no longer live as if you do not know who you are. The revelation of your identity is the key that breaks every chain. You are a child of God, an heir to an unshakable kingdom, a vessel anointed for deliverance and restoration. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are the masterpiece of grace. And when you walk in that awareness, darkness trembles. When you speak truth from the place of knowing who you are, Every word becomes a double-edged sword that severs unseen cords. Now, rise in your spirit. Do not let circumstances dictate your worth. Do not let delay blind you to the greatness God is preparing. Listen for my voice, no, with your ears, but with your heart. I do not speak to comfort momentarily, but to ignite the eternal fire within you. That fire has been buried beneath weariness, beneath unhealed wounds, beneath false voice. But I have not come to watch it fade. I have come to breathe upon it again with the wind of my spirit. You may think you are late, that time has passed, that opportunity has slipped away. But I say to you, when God steps in, every natural law must bow. He can reverse time, reopen doors once shut, and breathe life into dry bones. He does not require ideal conditions to act. He only seeks a willing heart. And that is why I come to you, because I have seen in you a flicker of readiness, small, yet still burning, faint, but not extinguished. Offer yourself as a living sacrifice unto the Lord. Do not wait for everything to be perfect before you begin to walk. It is in your weakest moments that you will see Him strongest. It is when you have nothing left to boast of that you will encounter the greatest grace. Let your voice be more than mere words. Let it become a proclamation awakened from your soul. I have seen the mountain before you, but I have also seen the one walking beside you, and He shall cause that mountain to move. O warrior of the light, you were not born to bow your head, but to lift it high, anointed. You were called out of darkness, not to live as if you still dwell in it, but to declare the marvelous light of the one who called you. The words I speak to you today are not meant merely for memory, but for inscription upon your heart. For if you truly receive them, the world around you will never be the same. My child, it is time for you to understand what is happening around you is not random chaos. It is a deliberate battle war between light and darkness, and you are at its center. Not because you chose it, but because you were chosen before you were formed in your mother's womb. Your name was written in heaven's strategy scroll. The enemy knows this. That is why it will not let you go. It does not fear those who speak of light, but carry no fire. But it trembles before a soul who knows who they are in the Most High and begins to act like it. Something is rising within you, not blind rage, but a deep knowing that you cannot continue living as you once did. You feel a divine stirring beneath the surface of ordinary things. Old dreams are resurfacing. Uncanny patterns appear, and familiar scriptures suddenly thunder in your spirit. This is no illusion. It is I, calling you, shaking you, summoning your soul to awaken for a time that cannot be delayed. I have watched what you have endured, the sleepless nights, the tears that fell in silent rooms, the prayers you uttered when words could no longer form. I was there, and in every one of those moments, something was forged, a connection between your soul and the realms of heaven, a connection deeper than emotion, stronger than circumstance, beyond the grasp of reason. It is what kept you standing when others fell. It is what fueled your hope when nothing else remained. It is what made you sing praise in the storm. You thought you were broken, but no, you were being shaped. You thought you had lost everything, but I was removing what no longer fits, so you may receive what is greater. The doors that closed were not rejections, but redirections. The refusals were not endings, but divine intervention. You have not been forgotten. You have not been abandoned. You are not lost. Every step you take is observed from the heavens. Each step forward is one closer to the destiny that I, Archangel Michael, have been sent to protect. Now, you must prepare for a revelation. Not a surface miracle to dazzle the eyes, but a spiritual unveiling, profound and powerful. A hidden truth will come to light. A person who has long concealed it will no longer remain silent. An object once veiled will be revealed. I do not need perfect timing. I only need obedience. And you, yes, you, chosen, one are the key to unlocking this divine movement. Seize this moment. Step out of the comfort zone. Do not seek validation from man, for man has not been granted the understanding to comprehend the supernatural when their spirit remains closed. Seek your confirmation from my voice, from the peace that surpasses all understanding, which I am now pouring into your heart. When you walk by faith, the heavens will shift. The impossible will become possible. The curses will be broken. The hidden will be exposed. You are not as weak as you once believed. You are a warrior trained in silence. The moments you thought yourself alone were the times I forged your blade. Every time you chose forgiveness over resentment, I tempered your shield of faith. Every time you prayed instead of giving up, I spread my wings over you in battle. You are a part of the army of light, not because you are flawless, but because you are obedient, not because you are strong, but because you know who your true strength is. Therefore, prepare your heart. A shift is coming. It will not arrive with loud thunder, but with a gentle yet undeniable leading. Pay attention to the strange coincidences, the recurring scenes, the names or places that stir something deep within you. These are the signs of my guidance, the messages I have placed in the spiritual timeline to lead you to the place of unveiling. Do not resist. Do not delay. This is your appointed time. My beloved child, I know there are times you've asked, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why? Among so many, does darkness seem to follow my every step? But within that very question, you have drawn nearer to the truth. The enemy does not pursue those who carry no seed of divine destiny. It does not waste warfare on empty vessels. It is precisely because you carry light within you that darkness seeks to extinguish it. And it is because you bear a promise spoken before the foundation of the world that I have been sent to guard you and fight on your behalf. You do not need to understand every detail. You need only to trust that all things unfolding around you are held within a divine order your human eyes cannot fully perceive. Those seemingly random encounters, the chaotic events, they are fragments placed by unseen hands to bring you into alignment with your appointed position. Remember the times you thought you would fall apart, yet somehow still stood. That was not mere human resilience. It was divine preservation, the covering of my wings, the silent cry of your soul that stirred all of heaven. The spiritual storm surrounding you is nearing its peak. This is not punishment, it is purification. What does not belong to you in this new season will be stripped away. The things you once leaned on will fall. But do not fear, for they were never your foundation. I will set you upon the solid rock. The shaking is not to destroy you, it is to usher you into deeper intimacy with the Lord your God. Do not cling to what was, even if it once was a blessing. What is coming is not a repetition, but a complete renewal. You must understand this. The battle is not about how you feel it, is about where you choose to stand. Even if your heart trembles and your emotions waver, if you choose to stand on the promise of the Most High, The enemy cannot touch your soul. You may feel weak, but that does not lessen the value of the armor you wear, for it is not armor made by man, but armor of light, crafted by the hand of the Almighty and bestowed upon those he calls warriors. I have seen your quiet efforts, the prayers no one hears, the forgiveness offered in silence, the tears that soak your pillow in the middle of the night. None of it is in vain. In heaven, not a single one of your tears goes unseen. Each drop falls into the golden bowl of remembrance. And now, that bowl is full. This is the time I come to pour it back upon you, not as tears, but as a flood of response, of restoration, and of victory. My dearest one, do not let your emotions lead your spiritual vision. What your eyes see does not reflect the fullness of truth. You are moving in a realm of strategy that the enemy cannot comprehend. That is why it panics. That is why it uses spells, curses, slander, and temptation to distract you. Do not let them take residence in your mind. Keep your eyes fixed upward, where the one who called you still stands, where the angelic hosts are in formation, ready to war at my command. All is falling into place. If your heart feels restless, that is the moment to return to stillness before the Lord, not to plead hastily, but to listen. Let silence become the chamber where I speak. In that quiet, I will unveil to you secrets that only those who dwell near the heavenly realms may hear. You will know when to move, when to pause, when to speak, and when to only pray. My guidance will no longer feel vague. It will be as sharp as the sword in my hand. And you will know without doubt that you are never alone. Even now, your soul is rising from the dust of doubt. The invisible chains are beginning to break. The breath of heaven is sweeping through your spirit, reviving what once seemed dead. Forgotten dreams are awakening. Faded visions are being redrawn in light. For I, Michael the Archangel, have not come merely to protect, but to awaken, not merely to rescue, but to commission. You are not only delivered, you are being prepared to deliver others. O child of the chosen, I say to you that from the moment you agreed to step out of the shadow of doubt and into the light of obedience, all of heaven began to move. Not one act of your faith has gone unnoticed. As you read these words I speak, it is not mere language, you hear it, is the vibration of the spiritual universe stirring within your core. You are no longer simply a person passing through life. You are one marked with the seal of assignment, anointed with holy oil upon your forehead by the one who ordained it before time began. I see the enemy tremble. He does not fear appearances, nor empty words. He fears those who rise with courage ignited by the fire of the throne. Do you know what renders the threat of darkness powerless? It is when you no longer fear it. When you understand that you do not fight alone, that heaven's armies stand behind you, then you will begin to see the truth that has long been concealed, that darkness was never strong. It was merely your light that had been veiled by deception. But today, I blow away that mist from your eyes, so you may see clearly who you are in heaven's sight. My child, do not let your heart be pulled backward by the voices of the past. The enemy loves to resurrect old failures to make you hesitate stepping into your ordained future. But I ask you this: who holds tomorrow? Who makes all things new and causes the former things to pass away? It is the very one you have cried out to. And it is he who has sent me merely to warn you. But to escort you through the door, the enemy has tried to seal, shut with sorcery. with curses, and with invisible chains. But today, you will see, no wall can stand before the sound of obedience. You have asked me in silence, am I strong enough? And here is my answer, no. You are not strong in the flesh, but in union with heaven. You carry a strength that surpasses all human limits. I did not choose you because you were capable. I chose you because your heart has been forged through seasons of pain, yet never lost its hunger for truth. And that very hunger is a powerful summons that heaven cannot ignore. Now, the only decision left is this. Will you walk forward on your own feet? Or will you let my outstretched wings lift you to a place no force can reach? Do not hesitate, my beloved, for where I am leading you is not a land of fear, but a realm of revelation. You will begin to see what others cannot. You will sense movements in the spirit that others only vaguely feel. You will learn to distinguish my voice amid 1,000 noises. You will stand in the floodwaters of the world and not be swept away. For I will set your feet upon solid rock. And when the enemy tempts you to abandon your position, it is my word that will keep you steady and unmoved. Walk each day with the awareness that you are covered not by a visible hand, but by divine protection from a realm higher than all others. Do not worry about what unfolds behind the scenes. You do not need to comprehend every scheme of the enemy. You only need to obey. Your obedience is the key that unlocks the doors of victory. Obedience is proof that you trust the one who sent me to you. And it is within your obedience that you will receive a strength beyond imagination, for it does not come from earth, but from heaven. I declare to you now, the shift has already begun. The signs will not come through rumors or fleeting emotions, but through clear transformation within your spirit. You will feel your heart grow lighter, even without a clear reason. Clarity will enter places that once felt clouded. Small things in your life will begin to change direction. You will realize, step by step, that you are not alive today by chance, but because the Creator still has an unfinished purpose upon your life. And now, prepare your heart not for defense, but for reception, for the battle has reached its end. The locked gate is beginning to open, and as you walk through it, you will not only enter freedom, but you will step into divine commissioning. You are not only being delivered, you are being equipped. You are not merely escaping the spell, you are becoming a vessel to destroy the works of darkness in others' lives. This is your time, child of light. This is the hour in which your destiny is fully awakened. My beloved, I see each beat of your heart in this very moment. Not a single thought within you is hidden from me. And I, the Archangel Michael, come to you now in this sacred hour to speak the words your soul has been silently crying out for. You believe you are resisting some nameless force, but in truth, you are standing in the midst of a relentless spiritual war zone in which unseen powers are constantly trying to deceive, to distort, and to blur the heavenly truths planted within you. But today, I declare that the darkness shall have no power if you will stand with your full faith in the living God, the one who called you out of ashes and into glorious life. What is happening now is not punishment. It is a divine summons calling you into a higher realm of obedience and awareness. I know you are weary. I see your feet feel like giving out from burdens you cannot name, from sleepless nights, from inner confusion that fractures the soul. But hear me, chosen one, there is no battle without a divinely appointed purpose. Every pain you felt, every rejection you've endured, Every delay that has left you bewildered, they are all guiding you toward a divine moment where His name will be glorified and your mission firmly established. Do not listen to the voices that say you are not strong enough, not pure enough, not important enough. I declare this: you are the one called out of darkness to dwell in eternal light, and the blood of the Lamb has already declared you innocent against every accusation of hell. If you could see what I see, if your eyes could look into the Spirit as mine do, you would know the enemy has laid thick snares not because you are weak, but because you are a threat to the darkness. Hell trembles when you rise in the morning, when you whisper prayers, when you refuse to compromise with evil. You may not see it, but each of your prayers echoes like thunder in the spirit realm, setting heaven's armies into motion. That is why the enemy has sent people cloaked in jealousy, deception, and darkness disguised as familiarity to surround you. But I have come today to tell you, they have failed. They will not claim your mind. They will not cloud your divine vision. And they will not touch your sulif. You remain grounded in the word of the Lord. My child, this very moment marks a spiritual turning point. You can no longer turn back, linga, or be distracted. The battle you are in is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to refine you, to fortify your faith, to sharpen your discernment, and to prepare the path for a glory greater than anything you've ever imagined. Believe me when I say that every wound you've carried, every tear you've shed, will become seeds sown in the spiritual field. From that soil, God will bring forth a great harvestone that you yourself will witness as undeniable proof of His unchanging faithfulness. I am surrounding you with a host of angels, guarding each step you take on this thorn-laden road. Despite the whispers, the cold stares, and the hands that once turned away, I remain here watching over your soul like an unsleeping warrior. Even now, I call you to open your heart and receive the intervention pouring down from heaven. Do not let doubt hinder the flow of grace. Look up not with the eyes of the flesh, but with the eyes of faith. For even now, the enemy is being driven back. Forces that once manipulated your destiny are being exposed and broken. Darkness cannot reside in the heart of one who keeps the fire of prayer burning. And you are that fire keeper. Keep burning. Do not fade. Do not fall silent. Do not retreat. For I am here, fighting with you. And God will not leave you alone, not for a single moment. My beloved child, in this hour, I, Michael the Archangel, I am standing in the eye of the spiritual storm to defend your soul amidst the violent clash between light and darkness. You cannot comprehend the full scale of the battle waging around you. But know this, from the moment you cried out the holy name, from the instant you broke your silence and lifted your voice in the midnight hour, the angelic armies moved, and I was sent to fight on your behalf. The enemy is enraged by the silent resistance in your spirit, by the flame of prayer that has never gone out in you, even when everything outside appeared to be collapsing. Do not let present circumstances deceive you. I tell you this, you are closer to your breakthrough than you have ever been. You've asked why your prayers seem unanswered, why you feel trapped in silence and delay. But, my child, some prayers are not delayed because they are forgotten, but because they are accumulating like clouds heavy with rain, waiting to release blessings at God's appointed time, and that time is drawing near. The enemy knows it. He sees the light forming around you and is doing everything to make you doubt, to discourage you, to make you retreat. But I say to you today, do not stop. Do not cower before the darkness that screams. For in walking forward by faith without seeing, you are shaking the very claws of hell loose from your life. You are stepping into spiritual territory where your ancestors never dared to tread, paving the way for a redeemed bloodline and birthing a generation no longer bound by ancient curses. My child, there are things you carry that are not for you alone. Your prayers are not merely for yourself. They are the cry for those who have no voice, the intercession for the forgotten, the spiritual representation of a wounded generation. The enemy knows this and he fears it. He has tried to silence you through betrayal, through pain, through the apathy of those you once trusted. But I say to you, what he meant as traps to destroy you, God will turn into the very material used to build his throne of glory in your life. I know you will not fall. No, you will not be erased. I see your name shining in the book of life, and no one can blot it out. The stains from your past that once felt shameful have been washed clean by the blood of the Lamb. Rise up now in the understanding that no one can call you unclean when heaven has already declared you righteous. My child, I now stand at the threshold of your destiny to remind you, the time has come. This is not the moment to wait for others to validate your worth. This is not the moment to wait for perfect conditions to step into your calling. I see the fire burning in your heart, and I, Michael the Archangel, will guard it with a flaming sword, empowered by the Almighty. Do not fear. Do not lose heart. I am here unmoving, unwavering until this battle is fully won. And now, I declare this as heaven's final affirmation in this season of your soul's transition. No force in heaven or on earth can stop what God has ordained for your life if you stand firm in surrender. I have been sent not only to shield you from the torment stirred by the two women who acted out of envy, but also to protect the sacred calling that was hidden within your spirit since before the dawn of creation. From the moment you were formed in your mother's womb, a divine call was placed deep within your Suland. That call still echoes through eternity. These past days have only been the tremors of a coming wave of glory that is about to surge into your life. You thought you were being delayed, but God was aligning. You thought he was silent, but he was preparing the path. You thought you were forgotten, but in truth, you were being placed precisely where you need to be. You do not know this, but in the many nights you wept, angels were dispatched to wipe your tears. When you cried, "Lord, I can't go on," it was I who stood behind you, sword down, shielding your soul. Dark forces tried to infiltrate through dreams, through distractions, even through those you trusted. But, my child, no one note, even those who have performed dark rituals against you, can override the divine election God placed upon your life. You must know what you carry inside you. The unfulfilled prophecies, the promises not yet seen, the dreams that seem to die are now being breathed back to life. And when I say this, I speak as one who cannot be bribed or deceived. My child, the time has come. Do not let your circumstances blur what you know in your spirit. I know there are still questions inside you, still moments when you wonder if you were truly called, truly loved, truly chosen. But know this, validation does not come through human applause or visible signs, but through the whisper you hear every time you close your eyes. In that moment, the Holy Spirit testifies to your soul that you are a child of God. And in that same moment, I, Michael, receive the command from heaven to intervene. There are things I have prevented that you'll never know. Traps laid out that were destroyed before they could reach your feet. Not because you were strong, but because you were destined to survive, to stand, and to walk into a harvest no one can measure. And now, after all of this, you ask me, how can I be sure the curses are broken? I tell you the truth, not only have human curses been destroyed, but their very essence has been dissolved the moment you entered into covenant with the Almighty. When you declare the name of Jesus, it is not merely words echoing into the air. It is a wave of power that reaches into the spirit realm. When you anoint and proclaim territory as belonging to the kingdom of heaven, angelic armies are mobilized. When you pray, unseen cords are pulled out from your soul. When you sing praises, I see layers of darkness shatter like glass beneath the sun. You have never done this alone. Every step you take in obedience, every act of faith, is a key that unlocks a new shield, a new heavenly gate, a new breakthrough. And because of this, I now impart to you a sacred reassurance. You have passed through the fires of testing, and you have been proven. Though you may feel weary, your soul is being revived. Though you may have believed time was lost, in truth, you are being aligned with the appointed timing of God. Nothing has been wasted. Every tear you shed was a seed planted into sacred ground. Now is the harvest. Now is the time to rise. Now is the hour to live as one who has been delivered not only from the spells of the enemy, but also from fear, shame, and the voices of failure that once whispered in your heart. O beloved child of divine choosing, I, Michael, will be with you in every step. When you walk in the light, I will be your gatekeeper. When trials come, I will remind you of who it is that has called you. When the enemy whispers, "You're not enough," I will respond, "This one has been redeemed by the blood. This one is God's handiwork." Keep your heart from defilement, your mind from distraction, and let your soul burn not for position, fame, or recognition, but because you know you are loved, called, and sent. I, Michael, Archangel of the Most High God, have come to lead you into the final phase of this journey where the light is no longer obscured and your calling is no longer hidden in shadow. From the moment your soul released its first breath within your mother's womb, a decree from heaven was issued. This one is mine, and in every season of your life, whether cloaked in darkness or bathed in light, that decree has never lost its power. What you have endured was not punishment, but divine training refining you like iron in fire, so that now, as I call you from the ashes, you are no longer haunted by the past, but propelled by eternal purpose. Can you see it? Every step you've taken, every tear you've cried, every wound carried in your heart is being transformed into instruments of victory. Every painful memory you thought would crush your life is being turned into testimony of resurrection. What the enemy meant to use to silence you, I am turning into a voice that will thunder across generations. My child, you are the answer to a lineage that has longed to see righteousness. Through you, a door will open for those still trapped in darkness. This is not merely about material provision, it is about a stream of light from heaven flowing through you to heal, restore, and deliver not just one, but many who are connected to the promises spoken over your bloodline. You will see it, not in your imagination, but in reality. In the coming days, A series of events will unfold, not by human logic, but by the timeline of God. I will place you in the right place, at the right time, with the right planet to give you fame. But so that divine purpose may be fulfilled, what appears to be coincidence will be revealed as divine appointment. Words you speak, in ordinary moments, will become prophecy to someone's soul. A glance you offer to the desperate will become the first spark of light in their night. You won't need to try to make an impact. Your presence, surrendered and pure, will become the conduit through which heaven's power flows like an unrestrained river. My child, do not think my words are all metaphor. I do not speak in riddles. When I say you have been given keys, I mean it. There is real authority in your hands, not a power based on title or rank, but one granted through integrity and faithfulness in the smallest things. The enemy trembles when he sees you emerge from your former season without bitterness. Darkness cannot endure the light of your soul when it blazes with true love for the Creator. Know this: not everyone will understand you. Some will doubt. Some will criticize. But I have not called you to be understood. I have called you to walk. And when you walk in obedience, heaven will respond. The earth will tremble, and what has been hidden will rise in authority and glory. I am opening a gate, not of man, but of heaven. Behind it lie the very things you prayed for and did not yet see. The dreams you gave up on. The purposes you thought were dead now being resurrected. You will no longer live as one waiting for a miracle. You will live as one carrying it. Not because you are capable, but because you have submitted to my refining. Not because you are perfect, but because you did not reject the call. Guard yourself against pride, but do not diminish your worth. You are the beloved of God, and that alone is enough to walk in every realm He has appointed to you. O child, when I saw you in the dark, I did not see one who was defeated. I saw a warrior learning to rise. When the world turned its back on you, when friends walked away, when those you trusted looked the other way, that is when I drew nearest. You could not see me through the veil of your tears, but I was there each second, each heartbeat, each breath you sighed into the silence of the night. I did not watch from afar, knelt beside you, lifted your arms, and held your soul steady as it trembled. There are things you never need to explain, for heaven has already known. The wounds for which no words exist, those very things have become the proof of your faithfulness. Now I speak to you not as a comforter but as one who summons you into new ranks. This is the hour of commissioning, no longer in the future, no longer one day. It is now. There are cries rising from across the earth, and you are the answer to part of them, not by your strength, but by the presence of the one who lives within you. I do not send you empty-handed. I place within you a sword forged in endurance, a shield cast. In every moment you chose forgiveness over vengeance, and a flame of faith kindled not in peace, but in the night of trial. Everything you once called loss is now being gathered as sacred treasure to save, to lift, to deliver others. You will see people trapped in battles they don't even understand. They think it's fate. They think deception is truth. And you, who once stood in that same valley, will be the one to lead them out, not with lofty speech, but with the living truth that flows from your life. When you walk into a room, darkness will tremble not because you shout, but because you carry the presence of the Holy One. Remember this: holiness is not loud. It does not seek attention. but a sanctified soul is a torch no one can extinguish. I know you still carry questions in your heart. You ask yourself, am I enough? And I answer, you were not called because you were enough. You were chosen to become enough in my hands. Each time you felt unworthy, remember all the times you chose to rise instead of surrender, to pray instead of complain, to wait instead of taking the easier path. It was those very choices that have shaped you into the instrument you are today. You do not need to prove anything to the world. You need only obey me, and the rest will be revealed in due time. My child, you will not walk alone. With every step you take, my heavenly host will surround you. When you open your mouth to pray, my sword will shatter every invisible chain. When you declare the word of God, the heavens will respond. Do not let emotions or circumstances make you doubt this truth. You have been given authority by heaven itself, and that authority does not come from numbers, approval, or credentials. It flows from the one who called your name in the secret place. When he says, "This is my child," no power can dispute it. Now I ask you this, are you ready to step into your spiritual harvest season, not a season to gather for yourself, but one to sow life into many others? Your calling is not measured by recognition, but by your faithfulness in the places you've passed through. The world may never applaud you, but every step you take will leave an eternal imprint in the unseen realm. And that, my child, is the truest form of glory. Beloved, this is the moment I place the final seal on what began before your very first cry. This is not merely the end of a message, but the opening of a destiny sealed in the heavens, now being unveiled for you to walk into. Not everyone hears this calling, and fewer still have the courage to answer it. But you, the one who endured the storm, who walked through darkness without cursing it, who chose prayer instead of surrender, you are the one I call among the multitude of souls. And because you have heard, I will act. I have not come only to shield you, but to equip you with power from the very throne of heaven. My dear one, in the days ahead, you will witness change, not just outward change, but a transformation from within, a spiritual shift that will cause all things around you to realign. Those who once rejected you will stand in awe of the wisdom and strength you now carry, not because you sought validation, but because the glory of heaven has taken residence within you, and that light cannot be hidden. Still, never forget this: light does not exist to boast, but to guide. The influence you carry is not to elevate yourself, but to lift the broken from the ashes. There will be those who come to you, not because they understand you, but because their souls hunger for something they cannot yet name. They will be drawn by the invisible peace, by the quiet strength you carry, and you won't need to strive to teach them. Just live in the presence of the one who has called you. For when someone truly carries the presence of God, every word, every glance, every step becomes a sermon the world cannot ignore. Do not fear the new challenges. The enemy will not retreat easily. It will try to stir old memories, to resurrect past wounds in hopes of wearing you down. But remember this: you are no longer where you once were. Your position is now above, where you see from heaven's perspective, not from fleeting emotions. And I, Michael, the one sent to protect and guide you, will not leave your side until the battle is finished and the victory is sealed. As you walk forward, keep your heart tender before the Lord and your stance firm against the enemy. Let mercy be your language, but never compromise with darkness. You are not merely a rescued lamb, you are a gatekeeper for those who will follow. There may be moments you wonder why you've had to endure so much. But trust this, every pain you've suffered is part of a divine preparation for a greater mission. Remember, no one is given authority without refinement, and no one is sent without heaven's confirmation. I affirm you, warrior of light, you are no longer who you used to be. The old curses have been broken. The shadows that once bound you have been severed by the sword of righteousness. The slander has lost its power, and what was meant to end you has now become the birthplace of God's glory in your life. I see the door has opened. No enemy can close it. I see living waters flowing around you, and all that was dry is beginning to bloom again. I see tired arms now raised in victory, and I declare this, your spiritual drought has ended. This is the season of overflowing blessing, not because you are worthy, but because the worthy one has chosen you to reveal his greatness. Now step out no longer in fear. Walk as one who knows they are loved, chosen, and sent. I will be with you always, and my host will guard every step you take. Nothing will happen without the permission of the Almighty. So lift your head, open your heart, and live as one who has been set free. For truly, you have been set free not by human power, but by divine intervention from the throne of God. Thank you for receiving today's message. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that together we may continue to receive the living words, build a steadfast faith, and walk in the boundless love of the Lord. Amen.